Hey, welcome in to the one, the only, the Email Design Podcast. This is your home for all things email design, development, and marketing. As always, we are your hosts.
And I'm Jason Mandeville.
And today we've got a community rapid fire edition of the podcast. We are going through your questions on the Litmus community, litmus.com/community, going through them, answering questions to hopefully help you out with your email endeavors. So we're going to kick off today with this question from Barry asking about dates and addresses being blue in Samsung app. He says, has anybody else been having the issue of dates and addresses turning blue? He's been trying to use the usual tricks of span class and span style, but he's not having any luck. And I'm not really a big Samsung expert. We don't have a ton of, or a very large mobile audience, I should say, at Litmus. So we don't really know the intricacies of some of these, more edge case type of clients. But luckily, this is an easy fix. And even something like, I'm not a big fan of the span tactic for overriding blue links because it's a manual process of doing that for every single link. It's just not very scalable. But this is the exact same issue of the Gmail blue links that we had. And what's really nice is that you can use essentially the same type of CSS properties, just a different targeting method for Samsung. So, and we have this great post about Samsung rendering on the Litmus blog, and it sort of breaks it down. But Samsung, you can target it by using the ID message view body. That's sort of what it prefixes its entire div body with. So you can use that and just target it on all link tags to make sure that it has a color of inherit, font size, font family, font weight, and line height of inherit, and text decoration none if you don't want an underline. And so this could be the same exact reset CSS you have for Gmail as well. Gmail would have its own separate targeting method, but it's nice because this is just a quick and easy CSS reset.
Yeah,
fix.
I like that. I'm totally with you. I don't like that span class method that we used to use because it is very manual and, it takes a lot of work to actually make sure you're overriding things that need to be overridden. So yeah, I love this kind of default boilerplate stuff, just working into the head of your document and you're good to go for your emails. All right, the next question comes from Vadim, who is talking about Outlook.com and seeing that the max width CSS property is being overwritten. So it looks like Outlook.com is adding this class to images. So it's like dot, a bunch of letters, bunch of numbers, super long string of characters, and then table image. And then it's declaring the max width none is important. So he's wondering if there's a good solution for overriding this to make sure that max width actually works in Outlook.com to make sure that things like responsive images don't blow up and destroy our layouts. So his inclination is to use important on your own max width properties. And this is something that Rémi Parmentier actually documented over on his excellent GitHub repository of email bugs, which I agree with his recommendation is just adding that max width of whatever it happens to be, and with the important declaration in line on that actual image to make sure that that takes precedence over any embedded style, even if that embedded style has that important declaration included on it as well. So yeah, if you're looking for a fix for that with Outlook.com and you're seeing your responsive images not working correctly, then you might want to add that in line on your images.
Yeah, and this is only happening on the newest version of Outlook.com. So if you've opted into the beta, it doesn't affect sort of the older versions of Outlook.com. So just that's important to note. And if you're trying to test this in Litmus, you would have to test locally as we're still running off the older version. We're not on the beta. So that's just a little important wrinkle to take note. I don't know if this was intentional or not. Obviously, it's a new bug. We'll talk about it with the Outlook team, see if they can fix this or treat this in a different way. Obviously, they're targeting it at the element level, which makes it hard for overriding things when it has the important declaration on it. So yeah, just doing it inline will sort of solve the issue in the interim. All right, we're going to take a quick break here and let you know that you can catch the podcast at emaildesignpodcast.com. All the full show notes and links, everything we discussed, it's right there. You can tweet along with the hashtag Email Design Podcast. You can subscribe and get the podcast as soon as it drops every single week on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And we have a free 14-day trial of Litmus. So you can just go to litmus.com/gift card, input the coupon code podcast. So with Litmus, you can test your email. So when you're trying to do these quick fixes for, say, your Samsung Blue Links, you can take a look at what it looks like in the Samsung app. No problems right there. If you want to test for Outlook.com issues, fixes, you can do that. You can basically preview your email. We have over 90 email clients to choose from. So every single possible important email client you could want to test in for your audience is available to you. You can make sure that it doesn't look broken, that everything looks good before it goes out the door and you hit the send button so you can sleep easy at night. You have all the confidence in the world that you're going to provide a great experience for your subscribers. So again, you can just go to litmus.com/gift card, input the coupon code podcast. And we do want to just have a special shout out as well. We are running our State of Email survey for 2018. And this has been something we've been doing for the past few years now. And it's been so critical to produce awesome research and reports like the state of email workflows, the state of email salaries, the state of email design, looking at design trends. It's so important for everybody just to take 30 to 45 minutes to fill this survey out. It helps everybody in the industry. There's been no other survey that has as many people participating and generates all these amazing insights into what everybody's doing in the industry. What are the trends? What tools are people using? What are the workflows? How much money is people making? It's something that benefits the entire community. So please, everybody, just look up 2018 State of Email Survey with Litmus here, fill it out, and we'll be able to generate a lot of awesome research and results that are free for the entire community.
Yep. And we'll definitely put that link in the show notes too to make it easier for you guys to get to it. Absolutely vital research, and it exposes so much information about the industry and everybody in it that the more feedback we get, the better. So definitely check that out. All right, Litmus Community Job Time. We love featuring these jobs from the Litmus Community Job Board. If you're looking for a new gig, just over litmus.com/community/jobs and check out the latest postings. This one, there's a full-time job in the UK. If you're in Hythe, I believe, in Kent, the UK. There's an email developer position open at Holiday Extras Limited. They have over 6 million subscribed customers. They need somebody to handle their email development, their email strategy, all that kind of stuff. So looking for a good developer to join them in the UK. If you're in New York, Harry's, the razor brand, is looking for a freelance email developer to join them for about 2 to 5 days in their Soho office. I love Harry's emails. I love Harry's razors as well. They've always had an excellent email strategy, great designs. Excuse me. So if you are looking to join them on a freelance 2 to 5 day kind of part-time basis, then definitely check that one out. If you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, Traeger Grills is looking for an email marketing manager to manage pretty much everything about their email marketing program. They were apparently named 2016 and 2017 best company to work for by both Outdoor Magazine and Utah Business Magazine. So it sounds pretty good. I don't know if you get a free grill out of the deal if you do join up, but that'd be pretty sweet. And then the last one we're going to feature today is RevZilla in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They're looking for an email marketing specialist. Apparently in their office, they have a prize wheel, a giant trampoline, and a skateboard ramp. So if that sounds interesting at all and you want to, put your email marketing skills to work at RevZilla and you're in Philadelphia, then definitely check out that job listing as well. All right, back to the community discussions here. I love this one. Rochelle Claremont asked everybody about the TD versus paragraph debate. So essentially, what everybody thinks about building emails and housing their content directly in table cells or within paragraphs within those table cells. So look for some feedback. Unfortunately, no comments on there yet. So definitely head over and check that one out. We'll put it in the show notes. But our take on it, my take personally, is that I kind of separate those two things. I would typically, if I'm using tables in email, which doesn't happen all the time, but if I am using tables, that table cell is largely for structural stuff within the email. So that's where I'm going to apply padding. If there's a lot of copy, multiple paragraphs within that table cell, then I might apply those font styles at the table cell level so that they all inherit. But paragraphs are always going to be used to house that actual copy because it's such a good move for accessibility. If there's only one paragraph or something per table cell, then I'll probably just put the font styles on that paragraph itself. But yeah, I like separating those two concerns. Table cells are used for structure, and then the paragraphs themselves, or things like H1, H2 tags, those heading tags, stuff like that, are used for the actual content to make that content more accessible to your subscribers. What do you think about this one, Kevin?
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. That's the exact strategy you should be using. And I'm somebody who has really popularized the phrase TD or GTFO. And by GTFO, I mean get to fixing outlook.
I actually quoted you in one of my books with that phrase too. So it's documented in the history of email marketing.
It is. And I would say I've sort of evolved on that position a bit to where, when you're just starting out with email, that's a good strategy to adopt, right? To where you should just use table cells to get familiar with using that structure again, because it's very archaic for a lot of people. And also it just reduces the amount of rendering inconsistencies because it's just so bulletproof with that shell that it gives you a better or it's an easier way to learn, the quirks of email just by controlling things at the table cell level. But with today's day and age, and it's really been improved on the rendering side, there's no excuse to really be doing that. You can be using semantic tags just fine. It used to be that there was just a lot more styling applied to those types of elements in the past, which isn't the case as much anymore. So I use all semantic, H1 paragraph tags, etc. When I'm using text now. There's really no reason not to, in my opinion. Yet, like you said, just use the table cell for the structure. And if you're not doing that, I challenge you to try it out. And I also challenge you to throw away some of the old reset styles you may have on some of those things because they're not as needed.
Yeah, I would say the only one that I usually kind of bake in is just the margin on those block level elements. So heading tags, paragraph tags are a block level, and by default, most browsers or clients will add some sort of margin to the bottom or the top of those in headings case. So just reset that to 0 if you want to. But I do use that if there's multiple paragraphs stacked on top of each other, then I'll keep that margin bottom in there to just add a little bit of space between those. But the rest of it, you can, it's safe to use that stuff. So definitely think about your subscribers and make your emails more accessible in favor of, your developer practices is always a good idea.
Yeah, it should also make just the code easier to read and edit yourself, which is why I like using it as well. So this next question comes to us from Benjamin asking about targeting for Yahoo Mail. He says, I've been trying to get this method of targeting Yahoo Mail to work, but I haven't had any success. And the code that he's using is @media screen Yahoo, and then with a class of Yahoo inside. What was important to note about the property here, it was padding 20 pixels, 000 with the important declaration, although there was a space between the values and the important. And this is where the error came in. This actually isn't a targeting error. This is a Yahoo Mail bug to where there cannot be a space between the value of a CSS property and the important declaration to use it in embedded CSS. It needs to have no spaces. So the targeting method he used here was written properly. It was really just a matter of the important declaration having a space between the value. And that's where the hiccup was. So just one of those classic email quirks that comes down to it here. But yeah, this is the exact way you would use for targeting Yahoo Mail @media screen Yahoo. But yeah, just note the important declaration quirk for Yahoo Mail if you ever come across it.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird little things that you kind of have to know about, and there's no way to get around it. Good old Yahoo, always keeping us on our toes. All right, the last community discussion comes from Karen Slater. She noticed that in Outlook, anything that uses the @ symbol and then some text after that was being converted into a link in Outlook. So specifically in her case, she had a bit of copy that said drugs, then the @ symbol FDA/drug details. Outlook was actually turning that into a mail to link. So she tried a couple of tactics to break that behavior, including using the rel attribute with no follow on there, trying to override that with styles and the important declaration, but nothing seemed to be working. She finally got onto something that did work, and that was adding a span which had a bunch of inline styles, display none, visibility hidden, font size 0, line height 0, but just that span after the @ symbol within that text to break those two things apart. So breaking that breaks that functionality of converting it into links. So this is something we've seen similar problems with, using like email addresses or phone numbers, things like that inside of email. So different email clients will convert those to links because they think they're links and style them blue, underlined, whatever. So she's right on the money here. You want to essentially like break that so that the machine doesn't read it as an actual link. But there's actually an easier way to do it than using that full span with all those inline styles, which kind of muddies up your code a little bit. The kind of quick and easy way is use our good friend, the zero with non-joiner, which is ampersand ZWNJ semicolon. So that is essentially adding a character in between that @ symbol and the copy following it. So it breaks it. It doesn't think it's an email link, but that character doesn't really display anything. It has 0 width to it. So that's a good way to kind of break that functionality. And, the same technique kind of applies across the board if you're trying to fix things like other email addresses, telephone links, stuff like that. So that's a good way to do it. Just one of those, zero with non-joiner is one of those things that gets handier and handier to know about as time goes on. So definitely kind of keep that in your back pocket when you're looking at these different bugs.
Yeah, and it sort of goes back to if there isn't any CSS reset that you can use, or maybe, it's not going to work with your ESP, or that's just not a tactic available to you, maybe. Yeah, just figure out how can you break up the text to make the rendering engine think it's not what it wants it to be. So yeah, whether it's the zero with non-joiner, the span hack that Karen found, that's just a different way of framing it, looking at it, and trying to prevent that behavior from happening. So throw that tool into your back pocket. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the podcast. Reminder, you can catch all the podcasts at emaildesignpodcast.com. All the show notes, links, past episodes right there. So you can subscribe on SoundCloud, YouTube, and iTunes. There's a free 14-day trial of Litmus. Just go to litmus.com/giftcard, coupon code podcast. And again, please fill out the 2018 State of Email Survey by Litmus. We're going to be able to have chat on the podcast, dive into all these deep reports, just get a lot of insight from the whole community. So, all right, email geeks, we'll see you next time.